So this video is gonna sort of be a departure from my last video, well, not my last video, but a video that I had entitled "Are Cars Too Pretty?" I think, but instead of focusing on all the stylistic elements of modern day vehicles, we need to talk about the performance, because truthfully, that is what's important if you're an enthusiast. So today's question is: are cars too powerful? Now I know immediately some people are probably like, oh, that's hearsay, that a member of the automotive community would even dare to claim that cars are too powerful. But I do believe in many cases today that cars are too powerful. So, a present day BMW M5 has, I think it was, it's 560 horsepower. Okay? It seems a little bit excessive, and I am a horsepower junkie. Yeah, I am. But you get to that threshold of like, is this even like sane or is it just stupid? To be blunt, just let me ask you, when on earth are you going to be able to exploit 560 horsepower on a public road? You're not. I mean, you could potentially do like I don't know about like horsepower peaks and like torque peaks. I mean, yeah, you could do it for like an instant, but you're never gonna be able to wring out sustained performance from your 560 horsepower M5. It's not gonna happen, okay? And yeah, if you go to track days, that's fine, and that I guess justifies buying a BMW M5 with 560 horsepower. It's a great car. I'm just using it as an example of the horsepower wars that we live in. But no, you're gonna attempt in vain to get all those ponies out of your car, and you're gonna get a ticket. Okay, that's the reality. I mean, we like to envision ourselves like cruising down the Autobahn at like, I don't know, nearly breaching the 200-mile-an-hour barrier. I don't live in Germany, so that's like actually impossible for me. But in all reality, you're not going to be able to attain the level of performance that automakers always like brag about in their advertisements. You won't be able to. And it also seems like, and I've only been alive for so many years, but in my experience, it's also like getting to the point where horsepower numbers aren't even that impressive anymore. Like I'll look at like the Hennessy Venom GT. I get that it's like a tuner car and everything, but 1200 horsepower, like that's impressive. But can it handle it? Like you'll just get wheel spin in like fourth gear. I don't know if that actually happens, but I would not doubt that would happen. And like you see like tuned like Supras that are pushing, I don't know, like 2500 horsepower. And that's an achievement in engineering. I understand that, and maybe that's the sole purpose of why they're being built. But the fact of the matter is, these cars with insane amounts of horsepower are, for instance, the Nissan GTR. That doesn't have an insane amount of horsepower, and it is faster to 60 miles an hour than the majority of these, like, ludicrously powerful vehicles that are all around us. Well, not in my town, because I have a really small, insignificant town that I live in. But the cars that I know of, there are some ridiculously, like the Chiron, 1500 horsepower. And yes, it's very fast, but that's because it's all-wheel drive. And I guess that's the way you can harness that power a little bit better. But like the Venom, too much power, really. It has too much power to the point where it is probably detrimental to your enjoyment of driving it. You're like terrified of it. You don't want to go near it because you think it'll like bite your head off. The Viper maybe has too much power. I've never driven most of the cars I talk about, but I've read about each and every one of them. Viper maybe, it's naturally aspirated, so that's impressive. But if you just like doing like insane, like in the 35 pounds of boost, like maybe more than that, that might be excessive and dangerous, and thus not as fun as, say, a GTR, which has, I think the Nismo version has about 500 horsepower. Really, that's not that much. I mean, like I was mentioning earlier, the M5, a family four-door can have more than that, but it is but the performance level, the performance to power ratio is very good, and then that kind of drops off, and you just get absurdly powerful, like with the Venom and possibly the Viper, and a lot of your cars like the M5 that, in my opinion, weren't designed to have those levels of power. You know, like, I don't know, Mercedes. I was reading about the new E63 AMG, the Mercedes E63 AMG has, I think it's 605 horsepower, or 602, something. It's like 60 and then some single digit. So like, let's say 605. Can the E63's chassis and tires really cope with that amount of power? Because when you really think about it, all that power is just being transmitted through 4 little patches of contact that the tires are making with the road. 4 tiny little, like, probably like inch, maybe even less than an inch thick patches of contact with the road. So that power will never be completely effectively put to the ground. In the case of like the GTR, it is, because it has like an insane launch control system and everything. And some car, like my little 924S, it has 147 horsepower. Okay, that's weak. That is weak, even maybe by the standards of 1987. But what I will say is, it puts power to the ground in such a way. It's beautiful, the way in which it puts power to the ground. I mean, it's a rear-wheel drive that feels like an all-wheel drive. That's good dynamics right there. That's a good chassis. They thought it through. But I'm starting to feel like automakers now are just pumping their cars full of power without really addressing the other issues that come with that inherent like addition of power. It's like, here's what I think of whenever I think about this issue. It's like with like GMOs and fast food chains that need as much chicken as possible, and they pump their chickens full of steroids to the point where they're so big at such a young age that their bones and muscles their muscles are fine, but their bones and like skeletal structures haven't caught up to the level of mass they have, and they just like can't walk, and they just like sit there and just can't. Yeah, that's sad. I know, that's sad. We're not going to go there today. That's basically what it's like. I mean, but instead of the cars not being able to move, they move way too quickly and with a lot of wheel spin. If that whole thing made any sense at all. But yeah, I just think it's excessive, and power doesn't necessarily mean more fun. Okay, if it did, I don't know, we'll say like an Escalade has like 400 horsepower, I think. That'd be more fun to drive than a Miata. It's not. It's about excitement. It's about the visceral experience, the wind in your hair and everything, you know, the sound. It's about a lot more than just the power. And I think that's what a lot of automakers aren't really. I think some of them have lost that sentiment recently. BMWs, with the exception of the M2, do not handle nearly as well as they used to. They're not as fun, yet more powerful. You see what I'm saying? Like, power won't solve all the problems that come with a car, especially a new car with all these safety features and everything. That's another video too. Are cars too safe? That will come sometime. But you can't just add more power and expect to have a better car. I'm not saying decrease the power. And I don't. And a lot of the things I complain about, I'll be honest, I don't really have a solution that I have readily thought of. But I would say, my word of advice to automakers would be to just chill out with the power. Okay, power is good. Okay, it's great. Just put that on hold. You have enough. Rework your suspensions. You know, stiffer springs. Make a car corner flat. All these things could help utilize the power more, and make the car a more enjoyable car. And that's all I can say. You know, that's my voice. I'm saying it. I'm saying, listen, I love cars, but these cars need a little something. They need a little attention. I think there should be a perfect balance of, you know, handling to comfort to power. You know, not necessarily comfort if you have like a race car. I don't really care about comfort, to be honest with you. But handling and power, they need to benefit you. They need to talk back to each other. They need to be cohered together. But anyway, Durango is I really hope soon going to be out of the shop. I know I said that it'd be soon, like, was it like 2 weeks ago? It really should be soon. So, I don't know if you believe me or not, but it should be soon. But, yeah, see you guys later.